Could you briefly describe what standards BIS use to determine whether a company can obtain a temporary license?
Yes, you're correct. BIS reportedly has already issued authorizations under these new rules. BIS generally licenses activity that it decides will not undermine the purposes behind the rules, and the purposes behind the rules involve advancing U.S. national security and foreign policy priorities. And so if BIS decides, well, this activity, if we let it happen, will not cut against those national security and foreign policy priorities, BIS will sometimes license that activity.
How to treat a list of entities listed by the Ministry of Commerce, the Ministry of Finance, or the Ministry of Defense?
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. These types of regulations are the result of extensive interagency review and comment and coordination and decision-making. So the U.S. government develops international trade and national security regulatory requirements based on extensive interagency work. And so the Department of Defense, the Department of State, and other parts of the U.S. government, the White House, had a role in development of these regulations.
Will the United States slow down the development of Chinese semiconductor companies in the future?
It is the U.S. government policy. U.S. national security depends on limiting the technological advancement of the Chinese semiconductor production capability. And that policy absolutely animates these regulations. It is the purpose behind these regulations. I don't know how successful the U.S. government will be, but I expect the U.S. government to continue to develop and amend its export control regulations with that goal in mind.
Do you think the United States will continue to expand the scope of restrictions or sanctions in other areas?
Yes, entirely possible that the U.S. government will expand export controls regarding China in other sectors. That is true. There is a special focus on microelectronics and advanced computer activity, but it is also true that the U.S. government is focused on additional areas as well. So it would not be surprising if the U.S. government promulgates other export controls relating to China in other areas.